The US-Poland relationship is of critical importance to Washington, President Joe Biden said during a February 21st speech in Warsaw.
And let there be no doubt, the commitment of the United States to our NATO alliance and Article 5 is rock solid. And every member of NATO knows it, and Russia knows it as well. An attack against one is an attack against all. It's a sacred oath. Sacred oath to defend every inch of NATO territory.
NATO needs to expand. Antony Blinken stated this during a visit to Ankara. He stressed that the entry of Sweden and Finland into the alliance will strengthen the security of each member of NATO, including the US and even Turkey, which still, together with Hungary, block the accession of these countries into the alliance. The same idea was voiced by the President of the United States in Warsaw.
He thought he'd get the Finlandization of NATO. Instead, he got the NATOization of Finland and Sweden. He thought NATO would fracture and divide. Instead, NATO is more united and more unified than ever before.
Additional NATO forces will be deployed in Latvia in the summer of 2023, said the country's Minister of Defense, Inara Murniece. Between 4,000 and 6,000 troops will be based in Latvia as part of the alliance's agreement to strengthen the eastern flank. And the hot phase of Russia's war against Ukraine is not the only circumstance requiring head-weighted readiness on the part of NATO. The Kremlin threatens the security and sovereignty of Moldova. This has been repeatedly stated by President Maia Sandu. Russian missiles have already violated Moldovan airspace. Moldovan Prime Minister Dorin Rețean confirmed the information of Western and Ukrainian intelligence about Moscow's plans to transfer troops and open a second front in Moldova. In this regard, Maia Sandu asked the US to increase financial support for the country. Sandu said that there is no direct threat yet, thanks to the Ukrainian armed forces, which repel Russian aggression. But experts are sure that Moscow will not abandon its plans.
Now, due to the fact that Ukraine is fighting very well and does not allow the Russian Federation to do what it wants, only because of this a more or less calm situation reigns in the Republic of Moldova. But the Russian Federation does not abandon its plan to capture us. Recently, the skies over the Republic of Moldova were closed due to the fact that, as the government explained to the governing bodies, 1 or 2 drones entered the airspace uncontrolled, and there is, in principle, a constant threat.
In Warsaw, Joe Biden discussed with the leaders of the countries participating in the Bucharest 9 the strengthening of the eastern flank of the alliance and assistance to Ukraine.
What we wish to do today is to think together among closest allies about our next steps in the run-up to the B9 summit in Bratislava and the NATO summit in Vilnius, and about the possibilities to provide further support to Ukraine.
It's an opportunity to discuss our expectations from NATO summit in Vilnius. For example, how we ensure that there are no gray zones in our defense, or how we adapt our defense spending to our security environment, and how we ensure that Ukraine is able to defend itself as long as it takes, and how to move practical but also political relations between NATO and Russia.
The US president also discussed the development strategy for NATO's eastern flank with NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg. Reported by Pavlo Stelmach, Yulia Bezborodko, UATV News.